Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball, Plot Holes and Inconsistencies, where we talk about the plot holes and inconsistencies in the Dragon Ball Z anime and manga. The plot hole I'm going to be talking about today has to do with the Cell Games Saga, or more specifically the fight between Goku and Cell. And this is a plot hole which not only affects the entire fight, but the outcome of the entire saga and the sagas thereafter. So what exactly is this plot hole, and what exactly does it entail? Well, without further ado, let's get started. So at this point in the Cell Saga, Cell has gathered all of the Z Fighters together for his Cell Games tournament, and he is finally squaring off face to face with Goku. Dr. Gero, his creator's primary target, and the reason why Cell and the androids were created to destroy him. And with their epic clash underway, both are going back and forth, though Cell is clearly holding back the majority of his power against Goku. They seem evenly matched until Cell starts ramping it up a little bit and Goku is on the defensive. That is, until Goku flies up into the air and charges his kamehameha, leading to an epic moment where Goku appears to be aiming it at the planet, ready to destroy everything to defeat Cell. When suddenly, Goku teleports right in front of Cell and blasts him at full force, blowing up the top half of his body, completely disintegrating it. Everything seems okay once again as Goku appears to have defeated Cell, but that is until Cell's lower body jumps back into the air and regenerates his top half, revealing to everyone that his regeneration is better than everyone once thought before, and showcasing that he's a much harder foe to defeat than simply blowing up part of his body. And after this, they continue the fight, which inevitably leads up to Goku giving up, so that Gohan can step in, transform into a Super Saiyan 2, and defeat Cell all on his own. But wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. And that's because this entire thing creates a very big plot hole. A plot hole which is created towards the climax of the next fight between Cell and Gohan. More specifically during the return of Super Perfect Cell. Now as we know, after being teleported away from the Earth to King Kai's planet and self-destructing, Cell returns to the Earth from what for all intents and purposes should have been his death, now even stronger, and known by fans as Super Perfect Cell. During the scene in which he's explaining how he survived and regenerated and then came back to the Earth, Cell taps his head, saying that within his head is a cluster of cells which contains his core, similar to that of a Namekian, and he explains that as long as his core is not damaged, which it miraculously was not during the explosion, he will still be able to regenerate even if his body has been destroyed. But wait a second, this doesn't make any sense, because as we saw in the fight between Goku and Cell, Goku completely vaporized the entire top half of Cell's body, along with his head, which must mean that Cell's core was vaporized along with it. And since the key of Cell's regeneration comes from his core just like that of a Namekian, that means Cell should not have been able to regenerate at all after the top half of his body was destroyed. And this should mean that Goku's kamehameha actually should have killed Cell when he blew up the top half of his body. And considering we were never given any explanation as to how this did not kill Cell, and the only explanation we're ever given about his regeneration entails that core being inside of his head, then all of the evidence points to this being a plot hole. So what real explanation was going on behind the scenes that caused this to go about? Well, there's only two explanations I can really think of that would explain why this happened. The first one would be that Toriyama simply made up the idea of Cell having a cluster of cells in his head that would allow him to regenerate after he self-destructed, so he could think of a way to bring Cell back to life that would make sense considering his character and where his cells are derived from. And the other one would have to be that Toriyama simply forgot. Well, here's the thing, in this case, I don't actually have to guess. Because the thing is that Toriyama actually admitted in an interview that he made a mistake and forgot about Cell's core being in his head when he wrote the fight between Goku and Cell, and that the fight should have actually been over and Goku really should have killed Cell with that blast. So realistically, if Toriyama had remembered and had kept that Cell was blown up by Goku with the Kamehameha, then Goku would have beaten Cell, Gohan never would have had to step in and turn into a Super Saiyan 2, and the series would be drastically different after this point in time. But as we know with many of these plot holes and inconsistencies, the answer is Toriyama forgot. Well, my name is Mike and this has been another edition of Dragon Ball plot holes and inconsistencies. Tell me your own thoughts on this video down below in the comments section. Did you know that this was a plot hole, or did you not? Also, are there any other plot holes which I have not yet addressed in this series? Let me know down below. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
You better subscribe!